guys, what do you make of my new setup? It's not that different. I'm in the same room, I'm in virtually the same place, only now I'm sitting on the couch instead of on the floor in front of it. But since I've got my tripod, I figured I might as well make use of it. So today, from the title, you'll already have guessed this is a book review, and it is of one of the biggest YA books of 2014, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I read it on my Kindle, so here is the cover. I'm sure you will recognise it from, it's the same cover as you get on the paperback edition. But I read it on my Kindle and I downloaded it about 3 or 4 months ago when it was a couple of pounds, and I just got around to reading it over the past few weeks. And I loved it. The main character in this book is a girl called Kath. She has an identical twin sister called Rain, and they are moving off to university. They've just finished school and they're moving off to uni. They are both handling this transition very differently. Rain is much more of an outgoing, lively, extroverted type of character, whereas Kath is much more quiet. She's much more introverted, and the whole idea of going off to uni and having to mingle with new people, make new friends, throw herself into this new environment is very daunting for her. As the title would suggest, this book deals quite heavily with the idea of fandom and fan fiction. I'm going to talk about this in more detail in the second half of the video, but that's something that definitely appealed to me. It's something that I have quite a lot of interest in. So if you are interested in fan fiction at all, or fandom in general, in terms of television, films, books, if that's something that interests you and you already are kind of invested in, I think that you will get a lot out of this book. If it's not something that you've already been interested in and you don't know a massive amount about it, I think it will maybe open your eyes a little bit to that kind of world and that kind of idea. Kath herself writes a lot of fan fiction and has become somewhat of a celebrity in the fanfic writing world. And she is a super fan when it comes to the Simon Snow series, which when you read it, I won't give too much away, but it's along quite similar lines to a very famous series of books, magical books. I'm sure you can guess which one. And she's a massive fan of that and has become sort of famous in the fan fiction writing world for her stories about these characters. And she loves to kind of lose herself in that world and kind of avoid living in the real world. Rain, on the other hand, is much more of a party animal. She loves going out, meeting new people, drinking. They're very opposite people despite the fact that they're identical twins. I think when it comes right down to it, this is just a book about growing up, becoming more comfortable in your own skin and becoming more confident. I really think that it's a book about confidence. Kath has not been a particularly confident person. She's been very shy, she's not been comfortable with herself and has had a lot of reasons to kind of hide away from the world. And this is a book about how to deal with that when you move off to university. I'm not going to give anything else away about it. There are some romantic storylines that run through it with a few of the characters. There are some very nice friendship storylines that kind of start to blossom. There's a lot of focus on family and the impact that family can have on you and your personality and how you cope with the wider world. And it's lovely. It's a lovely book. So if you are thinking about reading it and you haven't picked it up yet and you're a fan of the YA genre, I would definitely recommend reading this book. I grinned from ear to ear reading this. I sat and I smiled the whole way through, and I'm pretty sure that you will too. So definite thumbs up from me. Now if you haven't read the book, switch this video off now because I'm about to start talking about it in a little bit more depth. But thank you very much for watching if you've watched up to this point. I hope that you enjoy the book if you go on to read it, and you can let me know in the comments if you have decided that you are going to read it. So thank you for watching, bye! After editing this, I discovered that this is less spoilerville and more a ramble about fanfiction in general. However, there are still a few minor spoilers, so if you want to avoid them, I would still click off now. Hello there, now we can talk about it in a little bit more depth without hopefully spoiling it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I have a massive interest in fanfiction, I'll just be completely honest. I find the entire concept of fanfiction fascinating because it really excites me to see how completely invested people can become in characters and in these worlds. And as someone who I think I do have a habit of sometimes if things are stressing me out, I love to kind of just disappear and immerse myself in a fictional world. So, you know, my Once Upon a Time addiction or Vampire Diaries or whatever, I love getting kind of lost in that sort of world, but for limited periods of time. But I think seeing how attached people can become to characters is just incredible. It'll never cease to amaze me what a huge part of our lives certain characters can become. So obviously in this book we have the Simon Snow series, which it was so reminiscent of the sort of a love for Harry Potter that our generation had, that I couldn't help but get completely swept up in that, and thinking back to my own feelings when I was reading the Harry Potter books. I will say I wasn't really a Harry Potter fan fiction reader, or I didn't really look into any of that kind of thing, but I've definitely read fan fiction for a lot of other kind of like shows and stuff that I'm sort of obsessed with, because I find it fascinating. I really love to see the impact that certain characters can have, and I think that if you can have that, if characters that you've created can have that much of an impact on someone, I think that's such a special thing. And I think that it just shows that, you know, there are different ways to approach a story, and you can create a story and, you know, write characters in whatever kind of way that you want, but if they touch people and if people feel that they know them and that they are invested in their stories, they will go on and they can, you know, find a forum and write their own kind of version of how things pan out and whatever. And, you know, there was a section in the book where Kath gets criticised by her lecturer for plagiarism, which I think that's the kind of grey area when it comes to fan fiction, is, you know, what kind of counts as plagiarism and what doesn't. And obviously, you know, there's a very much emphasis on the fact that Kath in this book, but also people in general, write, you know, disclaimer, these characters do not belong to me kind of thing. So I think that's an interesting area, is does it, you know, count as plagiarism? But I think for me it doesn't, because I like having extra pieces of that world, or whatever world it is that I'm sort of investing in, to go and explore. And I think that especially when a series has had that much of an impact on you, so if it is something like the Harry Potter series, or maybe the Hunger Games series, or just any TV show really, if you go online and do a bit of research, there is fan fiction for pretty much anything, I think. And I think when things finish, there's definitely a sense of loss sometimes, that you feel that you don't get to explore that world anymore, and you don't get to be involved in it or a part of it anymore. And that definitely, I think, can drive people to want to write their own versions of it and keep that story alive and keep it going, so that they don't have to say goodbye to it just yet. I like the idea that these characters can be kept alive forever through the imagination of fans who really love them and are invested in them. I would love to study fan fiction at some point, like in an actual academic sense, and like the world of fandom, because for me it's something, I made a video a while ago on kind of shipping and that kind of thing, but I think I'm going to make another video on that, which is more kind of just a discussion, because I think, looking at it from a kind of academic sense, which I think I can't help but do sometimes because I did a film and TV degree, and so I talked about this occasionally in some of my classes, I just find the response sometimes to characters and shipping and fandom and all that, it just really excites me, because it also worries me, because sometimes people get far too invested. Another thing that I will say, just this is totally veered off from talking about Fangirl, I need to watch what I'm doing. I think the differing responses that people can have to kind of couples on TV shows, so at the moment there are a few kind of major relationships in Once Upon a Time, and the way that people argue about them, or the one that I will always kind of bring to the surface, the Dare versus Chair drama in Gossip Girl, which I won't go into any detail because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who has not watched Gossip Girl, but that was very interesting to me, because Gossip Girl writers split their audience completely in half, and I think that's really interesting, because it shows that, you know, it sometimes just is by chance, you know, more than one set of actors has amazing chemistry, and that can then spark something in the imagination of your viewers, and, you know, you end up with kind of like an online war on your hands, where you've got this huge battle between, you know, Chair fans and Dare fans. I would like to study it at some point. I feel like I would love to write like an essay or a thesis on fandom and fan fiction and all that, because I think it's a fascinating world. I think that because I have that relationship already with fandom and fan fiction and all that kind of stuff, I instantly bought into the book and I got hooked on the story and the idea of it. And I just wonder, if you haven't already got that kind of investment in that sort of world, how you would respond to this book. So I would like to know, if you let me know in the comments, if you've read this and you were not already interested in the kind of world of fandom and fan fiction and stuff, let me know how you responded to it, because I feel like my response to this book is very much built on a personal connection with the subject matter. So I felt very personally connected to the character because I saw kind of a lot of myself in her when I was younger. Let me know in the comments if you've never read fan fiction, or you don't really care about it, or you don't know much about it. Let me know how you felt about the book, because I think that it would be interesting to know, because as I say, my joy in reading this book was very much connected to a personal recognition of what Kath was kind of going through. Not that I'm a famous fan fiction author, I'm much more of a reader, but yeah, I would be interested to know. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope that you've enjoyed that. That turned into just kind of a discussion of fan fiction rather than a discussion of the book. But if you enjoyed this book, let me know in the comments. If you didn't enjoy this book, actually, let me know in the comments too. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. So if you want to have a chat about fan fiction, fandom, world stuff in general, I would love to hear from you. So either tweet me at LynseyMac1. All of my links are in the description box, so Twitter and Facebook page and all that stuff. So yeah, really hope that you enjoyed this, guys. Hope you're having a lovely week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye! I still haven't seen the film of this either, and I really am keen to see the film. I'm an Emma Watson fan, so I would, you know, be intrigued by the whole thing. I'm also just intrigued by the concept of this.